Hey, welcome in everybody. In this video, I want to go over how to create lines using absolute coordinates. But before I do that, I want to show you kind of how to set up your drawing. So whenever you first open up your Autocad, you're going to see your screen is sort of similar to what I have here. The first thing you want to do though, you want to figure out, okay, what is your drawing unit? So is your object that you're going to be drawing, is it in inches? Is it in feet? Millimeters, centimeters? Is it miles? Is it in, mini moons? I don't know, but that's pretty much what you should set the very first thing when you open up your drawing. So the way that I usually go about it is I'm going to type in the word units. So I'm going to click here on my screen. I'm going to type in units, and you notice down here at the bottom when I start typing in the first couple of letters of my command, AutoCAD, it's trying to guess kind of what are you trying to get. So it's trying to help you out. So if you see when you start typing in letters, if you see the one that you want, you can just click it, or you can just keep typing it out. So I've typed in units. This is the one that I want. So I'm gonna click on the units option here. And then you see where it says length, type. There's decimal, there's architectural, engineering, fractional, scientific. I'm going to make this drawing here is going to be in decimal units, and you can set your precision. So I don't know if we need 4 zeros. I'm going to just set it over here to 2 maybe. And then we're going to be in decimal inches. There's also different units that you can set here, but I'm going to go into inches, and then all this is okay. I'm going to select okay. So that's the first thing you want to do. We're going to set our units first. Then what we want to do is I'm going to talk about the grid. So if you see on the background here on the drawing area, you see a grid. So you can either turn your grid on or off. So down here in my status menu bar here thingy, you see here's my grid. So I can go, you notice it's turned blue, so that shows my grid is on. If I select that button, it'll turn my grid off. I think the more comfortable you get with using AutoCAD, you might get used to drawing with your grid not showing. For me, it kind of gets in the way, but just as you're learning, I would keep your grid on. And you can also set the grid spacing. So these squares, if I right click on my grid button here and go to grid settings. So right now my grid spacing is set for a 1/2 inch. In the X and the Y. So I'm going to change this to 1. I'm going to change, that's already 1. So then it has a major line every 5. So you can kind of see down here, it has a dark line every 5 squares or 5 inches. And then usually you want to set the snap spacing the same as whatever you have your grid set to. So I'm going to change this to 1 as well. And then I try to avoid drawing with my snap on, but I like to keep them both the same anyway. So my grid is on, you can see that, but it has a blue check mark. My snap is not on, so that's what I want to do. I'm going to leave it just like it is. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see that my grid size kind of changed here. All right, so that's the second thing that I would kind of check for. Another thing I want to show you is the UCS icon, which is down here in the bottom left. And you can see if I pan it depends on how you have your set. So if I pan it, I can kind of move this thing around. But the way the UCS icon is set right now, so it's set at the origin. So at 0 in the X and 0 in the Y, that's kind of where that corner of my UCS icon is located. So if you try to pan your drawing around and it doesn't move, or you don't see it, you would type in UCS icon. And you'll get a menu down here. So you can turn it on, if it's off, no origin. So for this example that I want to go over, obviously I want you to have yours turned on, and then click on where you see origin. So that's going to move your UCS icon to the origin. And this is kind of important. That's kind of a base, kind of a starting point for our absolute coordinates. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is try to get into the habit of whenever you're drawing something, you want to make sure that you're not drawing on layer 0, which if you look at our layers panel up here, you see we are indeed on layer 0, and that's whenever you start a brand new AutoCAD drawing from scratch, it puts you on layer 0 kind of automatically. But I'm going to show you how to make a new layer. So I'm going to go up to where you see layer properties. And then you can see that layer 0, that's the only layer we have. So to make a new one, I'm going to click on the stack of papers icon where it looks like a yellow kind of a starburst on the left. And now it gave me a new layer. So I can name this layer whatever I want. So I'm just going to name it Object, all capital letters. And then for the color, you can see it's, if I click on the white kind of swatch here, I can pick what color I want. So let's say I want this to be something that shows up, maybe yellow, maybe not, maybe cyan. And then it's going to have a continuous line type. Line weight is default. You can change these, but just for this lesson, this is okay. So you also notice that my layer 0 has a green check mark next to it. If I double click on the object layer here, or the object, now that check mark bounces down next to the object. So that also, if you look up in the layers, now my object layer is showing up here. So that just tells you what the current layer is. So if I were to draw something right now, it's going to automatically put it on the object layer. So that's what we want. So then I'm going to close out of this dialog box by hitting the X in the top left corner. And now we can start drawing our lines. So whenever we draw lines, the way that we draw lines is we give it coordinates, like what's the coordinate of our starting point of our line? What's the coordinate of the end point of our line? So the way that AutoCAD is set up, it's like a infinite sheet of graph paper that just goes on forever. So anything, if we're drawing in absolute coordinates, right? Anything to the right of the origin in the X direction, that's a positive. Anything above the origin in the Y direction, that's a positive direction. Anything to the left is going to be a negative X direction. And anything down below the origin, that's going to be a negative Y direction. So if we want to draw a line in absolute coordinates, I'm going to click on the line tool. And then let me click it again. And it says specify first point. So let's say that I wanted to draw a square. And I don't want to start it on the origin. I want to start it kind of 5 units to the right. So I would, for my starting coordinate, I would type in 5, 0, and press enter. And you can see that it started my line over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes in the X direction and 0 in the Y. So it's not up or down at all. So now it's waiting for us. Okay, where's the next point of our line going to be? So if I wanted to draw a box straight up, right, I would it's going to be 5 in the X, 5 in the Y. So I type 5, 5. Right, so you just kind of you're giving it kind of coordinates of where you want your endpoints of your line to be. So then if I wanted to come over here to kind of continue on with my box, right, this is going to be its 0. It's not going the X direction at all. That's 0, but it's going straight up. So it's going to be 0, 5. And then the next line is going to be right on my origin, right? So that's going to be 0, 0. And then there's an easier way to close this off, but just to kind of give you an example, to get back where we started here, I'm just going to type in, right, 5 in the X direction, 0 in the Y direction, right? And then press enter. And there's our box. So to get out of this command, we're done drawing lines. I'm just going to hit the escape key on my keyboard. Boom, there's our nice and awesome box right there. So let's say I wanted to draw a box over here on this side of my origin. So this is going to be, it's going to be to the left of my origin. So let's say I wanted to start another box at this kind of intersection here. So I'll go back to my line command. And then I'm going to go, it's going to be 0, -5. Actually, it's going to be -5, 0. -5 in the x direction, right? 0. And then we can either go up, we can either go over. Let's go over this time. So this is going to be -10, 0. And then to get up here, we want to go, it's going to be over -10, 5. Right. So every coordinate that we enter is measured from this origin. So what is the distance of our coordinates located from this origin? So to get it over here, I'm going to go -5, 5. So even though we're on the left side, we're coming over to the left in the x direction, but we're going up. So that's still a positive direction in the y. And then to get it back where we started, I'm just going to type in -5, 0. And there's that box. So then I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of that. All right, so that's how you draw lines using absolute coordinates. So I hope you kind of understood what was going on there. If not, just, hit me up, ask me some questions. I'm always here to help. All right. I'll see you on the next lesson. Next lesson, maybe we'll do some more fancier kind of drawing with the absolute coordinates.